Clarence Williams, another video showing the continued trip that we took going to Europe back in August the 19th through September the 22nd. This particular video is going to be concerning Amersham. Amersham is a small town that is right outside of London, and Congrado and his family, Nancy and their two children, live there. And certainly I want to give credit, I want to give honor, and I want to give certainly a word of thank you to them for the great hospitality and the thing that they did for us while we were there. So with that being said, let me get into this particular video, and I hope, trust, and pray that certainly you can follow along and that it will be helpful, educational to you. First, the small town. Congrado lives there. He is Claire's nephew, and we certainly appreciate him so very, very much, and his beautiful wife, Nancy, and their two children. Their supporting care was very helpful in our stay in London, and we just had ourselves a grand time fellowshipping with them. Let me say, before we get started, that certainly this is the fourth of many videos that we're going to be doing, because we went to at least 6 countries and we went to at least 15 different cities. And so it's going to be a lot of other videos that is going to be following, Lord's willing. But you can follow us, and you can also subscribe to us. We have videos on YouTube, church service videos, Bible study videos, political commentary videos, and yes, all of the European trip videos. You can go to see Clarence Williams 3930. See the at sign Clarence Williams 3930, and that will bring up the Facebook, not the Facebook, but the YouTube. And then you can click on my name, and all of those videos will come up. I have taken these videos and put them into some type of categorical order under the skies of the name of what they call it, whatever it is. You'll see it in there, but they are put out there so that you can click on each one and get right to the one that you're interested in. Whether you're going to go to the church services, we have a link out there for that. Whether you're going to go to Bible studies or political commentaries, you can go there, or you can go directly to the European trips. You can do that, and certainly I encourage you to do that. My category escaped me now, but that's the way it is when you start doing live video. It'll come to me, and all of a sudden I'll just mention it, and then you say, oh yeah, now you remember what it is that he was trying to tell you. This is Congrado. This is his wife, Nancy, and truly they are beautiful people. One shout out to Nancy. Nancy can really cook. Amen. You heard of chicken pie? Nancy cooked a fish pie, and I love that, and I just appreciate her so very, very much for entertaining me and knowing that I liked it, and continued to serve it to me while I was there. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that. This tree, just a tree, but it caught my attention when we were sitting at there in their parking lot, waiting on them to come, because when Lai and Manuel had taken us to visit different places, and then now they're ready to go back home. They lived 4 hours away, And so now they're ready to go back home. And we had just came from Windsor Castle. Then they were taking us to Congrado House. And so we're waiting on them because they were not at home. And while we were waiting there, I was looking at this particular tree and I was saying, that is a beautiful tree. I never did find out the name of the tree. I even went online to try to find it. And I could not find it, match it up with the little balls, those little red, those are little balls on it. And then it has little beautiful leaves on it. I tried to match the balls, tried to match the leaves, could not determine what's the name of that particular tree, but it is a beautiful tree. And I thought I would take a picture of it. This here, I believe this is not uh, Amersham. I think this is the route that we was going to Amersham, but I thought I would take a picture of it because it's a quaint little place. You see how those cars pulls into the side of the road? That gives a little distinction of a little quiet town to me. And so I thought I would take a picture of that. Amersham, yes, it's a little small town, and it reminds me of my hometown. Although it is larger than Rolling Fork, Mississippi, still I felt at home in this little small town. I walked around the town with Conrado and his daughter, and believe me, she was taking pictures. I was taking pictures, and she was taking pictures also. This historic 11th century town, and I believe it's really older than that because I got the 11th century from a church that I'll show you on down in this video that says it was, I guess, built. The building was built in 11th century, and so I got that from that. But I believe the town was older than that. I'm pretty sure it is older than that. But you're still talking about 11th century. Can you imagine how old that is? 11th century. And then that also tells me of the history of some of King Henry VIII. He had some connections with this town, maybe not in a good way, but he also in the 16th century, which was during the time of his kingship, he sanctioned the persecution of the Lauders. The Lauders, early Protestant uh, congregation, and a number of unrepentant town people. He sanctioned the persecution of them, and they were actually killed. They were burned at the stake, and I'll give you the decree that gave them that, I guess, permission to do that, to burn them at the stake. We always hear about witches being burnt at the stake, but here they were burned at the stake, and then now there's a memorial to them that is up on a hill overlooking the city of Amersham, and they called it the Amersham Martyrs. Amersham Martyrs. Now, if I had known that when I was walking there, truly I would have went up that hill because I would have wanted to see that for myself. I can't help but look back at these times when the horses and buggies were the mode of transportation. Can you just imagine that? Food was being grown in the backyard. Uh, to me, I just love country. I love country living. People know one another. Life was simple, and though we had our disagreements, we didn't go around trying to kill each other. We solved our problems, but it wasn't as violent as we see things are now. Amersham remind me of that place. The residents was friendly. The food was definitely good, and the air was fresh. Just a beautiful place to live. People often have asked me, Brother Williams, of all the places that you have gone to while you was in Europe, which one would you prefer to live in? Well, I can truly say of Amersham, and Charleroi, which is in Belgium. Of all the places, those two, well, both of Amersham is a small town. Charleroi is a big larger than that, but it still gives you that home type of atmosphere. So those two would be the ones. Look at this. This is Amersham Town Council. Look at that. This is Amersham's Town Council. This is a garden of remembrance in Amersham. And we spent a lot of time. I think Congrado, his main emphasis of taking me there, taking me to the town of Amersham was to take me to this particular garden. And it's called the Garden of Remembrance. And I'm just going to show you a lot of pictures that I took there. People were milling around. Some of them were just sitting on the beautiful grass. There's a pond there that has some goldfish in it, and it's just a beautiful place where you can just go and relax, and just be there. You don't have to get all fancied up, and you don't have to have a whole lot of music, and you don't have to have a whole lot of excitement. Sometimes you just want to be simple. You just want to be common people and just enjoy what nature has to offer. And look at the beautiful flowers. It's just a beautiful place, and I really enjoyed this particular place. Look at the people on both sides of the walk. They're just sitting on the grass. They're just sitting there. They're not, they don't have no whole lot of music going on. They don't have no band. They don't have people dancing and trying to entertain them. They just sitting, and they're just enjoying being there. This particular plaque here really touched my heart. Uh, this right here, it says that it is for the people of Amersham that lost their lives, both men and women, doing what they call the Great Wall of 1914 through 1918. So naturally, I looked that up. What was the Great Wall uh, that they were talking about? And they was talking about World War One. World War One. Yes. And then I looked up, well, how many people actually lost their lives? It were 9 million soldiers that lost their lives in World War One, and 7 million citizens that lost their lives in World War One. Brother Williams, why do you think citizens, the number would be so high of citizens losing their lives? Well, when opposing countries start fighting, just my opinion, uh, when opposing countries start fighting, they don't only just be interested in killing the soldiers, but they kill those that are supporting the soldiers. So don't let people tell you, even in this 21st century, that people should not set up their bases close to civilian homes and hospitals and things like that. They will kill you simply because you support them. You support the armies. And so you have to really, I would think, get an understanding of stuff instead of just listening to people. Uh, Instead of just listening to people just tell you things. Don't be a person that someone can just tell you anything. I guess that's what I'm trying to say to you. In World War II, World War II, this was the largest number, just giving you this, largest number of casualties. I did this when I was talking to you about London and all of those different statues that were in London. Over 60 million, over 60 million soldiers and civilians lost their lives in World War II. In World War II. Now, don't tell me that all those countries had their military bases set up in excuse me, in hospitals and in neighborhoods. But how in the world can over 15 million civilians be killed then? Because people, governments kill not only soldiers, but they kill people that are supporting or they view as being supportive of the soldiers. You need to maybe listen to that, I think. This is the road that we were just going from or going to the old city. So I just took a picture of this particular road. This is the church that I was talking about. This is St. Mary's the Virgin. St. Mary's the Virgin. And if you look closely or pull it up, it would say that it was dated around 1140 AD. 1140 AD. That is 12th century stuff. That's 12th century stuff. Yes. So that church is old. That building is old. And it also gives something about the history of the land before the building was erected there. They say that it is the site where the Roman road crosses the little river Misbourne. So this little river, they say, is where the monks and what have you will baptize their converts. And so they are saying that this property, this site, was had some evangelistic type value to it before even the church building was built there. Yes, the town expanded during the Middle Ages, and church expanded, and the church was heightened, and it work was done on it. 14th century, 15th century, and the way that it looks right now says that it's pretty much the way that it was uh, renovated until the uh, through the 16th, 14th century. But you're gonna see it. But it's a beautiful place. I went in it. They were having mass in it, and the usher uh, gave me permission to go in, and I went in, and I was respectful. I wasn't trying to take pictures or anything. That's why you don't see any pictures now of it, of the inside. But I'm interested in stuff like that. In the early 16th century, King Henry the Eighth sanctioned the persecution of the Lauters, early Protestants, and a number of unrepentant town people. I don't know what they were repenting of or did not wish to repent of, but they are now known as the Amersham martyrs. That's what I was talking about before. And they are buried up on that hill overlooking the town. I went looked to Wikipedia, and I looked up the Lauters and who were they? They were known as Lauterism, Lauters movement. They were a proto Protestant Christian religious movement. It was active in England during the middle 14th century, through the 16th century, during the English Reformation. Now, if anyone have studied the Reformation movement, most of what we do in the United States, in fact, the United States was not even here during that time. So we have a lot of emphasis coming from where the people came from England, coming over to this land to establish this government. And so that's why we have to look back into England history to find where uh, this nation was established from. John Wycliffe, he was a philosophical person. He was a religious person, evangelical type person. This guy here, we still have his Bible translations now because he was also interested in translating the Bible from Latin into English. At that time, the Roman uh, the church did not sanction lay people reading the Bible. They wanted to interpret, so everything was done in Latin, and then they would interpret and they would tell you what God wanted you to know. You know, they said that the Pope and the cardinal organization was structured by God to lead us into what God would have us to know. And that's the way they was doing it back then, and that's still the way that the Catholicism works today. That's why you have the Pope, and that's why you have the cardinals, and they still do the mass, in Latin and different things like that, But they're getting a little bit more into translating into English now, which is, a turn from what used to be. But these lauders, they wanted to be able to read the Bible and pray in the English language. But naturally, the church was against that, and as a result of that, at least 6 men and 1 woman was burned at the stake. How could they do that? Now, this was in during the time of Henry VIII. That's 16th century. But this ordinance, this law, was adopted 1401. Parliament enacted a law called I hope I'm saying this right, the heretical come burning dough, whatever it is. It gave them the right to burn people, to burn heretics. And the leaders were uh, labeled as heretics, which gave them the right to burn, to imprison them for trial and for execution. And I looked up to see how many did they actually do that to. And I came up with the historic number of at least 100 were burned for being a heretic, for heresy, under this particular act. But I want you to be cautious of this, because this is a law that was enacted 1401, but Henry VIII was doing was a the king in the 16th century. So why would he still be doing this? And then also under his kingship, he even sanctioned the Bible being translated into English language. So why would he be sanctioning the persecution? Well, he sanctioned the persecution. Now, what I don't know what else they were doing wrong or what they were doing against the Catholic Church, but he sanctioned the persecution of them. But I'm pretty sure someone else used this particular act to burn them at the stake. Very interesting reading, and I don't have the whole picture of it. I'm just trying to point out certain things to spark maybe your interest. Go and see it. Go and read it. Go look it up. That's what we need to do. Don't just accept what people say. Go look it up. Amen. This is pictures that I took of that church, Saint Mary the Virgin. That's the name of that church, and they were doing their mass in there. Well, I can't say mass. They was doing a program in there. This is another view of it, and you can see the graveyard is right out in the same property of the church. And look at the graves. This is the graves, that was there. This grave here said that it was 1824 1824. That's a long time. But I can just imagine people deceased and burying their loved ones on what they would call holy ground, sacred ground. That's some. I would also say that I would believe that you had to be someone of rank or important of stature in the community to be buried there. Just knowing about the history of that time and the way people view stuff, any lay person just couldn't be buried there. I think I could historically say that. This little uh, uh, plaque here, little map. If you look way up in the upper right hand corner, that's that hill that they were talking about. Those Amersham martyrs were buried at, and it specifically says on that little plaque, that little write up, that they were burned at the stake because they wanted to read the Bible and they wanted to pray in English, in the English language. And it cites 6 men and one woman that were burned at the stake. And it also gives a time. It gives from 11 something to 11:21. I think it may be 11:15 through 11:21. So that would tell me that they were not all burned at the same time, or people are saying that that event happened. They just don't know the exact date that event happened. Either one is up there for the reading. And if you ever go to Amersham, make it your business to go up there and to see that, because I think that would be so good in order to do that. These people here just mingling around, just having fun, looking like an ice cream truck is there, and this is Amersham. We just taking pictures of what we are seeing, and beautiful place. This right here is just a building sitting kind of like in the middle. You have to turn and go around it in order to get around it. But it's a nice place just to be there. This is Congrado's little girl, and she's taking a picture of this sign. And now she was taking pictures of everything. She and I, we were just photographers. We were just taking pictures of everything. Crown Hotel is right there. Right there. You can go and book a room, I guess, in Crown Hotel. You're right there in Amersham. Now, we were trying to get to Amsterdam, and Congrado was going to take us to Amsterdam, and so he took his children and he left them with this young lady here, which is, uh, I guess, members of the family. Uh, Claire was, anxious to meet her and her, I guess, 2 sons. And I took this picture of them, but he left his children with them so that he can get us to the bus station. And so I wanted to take a picture of them as well. We went to the ferries. Went to the ferry, and here we are now. We are at the ferry, and I wanted to show you some concept of how we got across the English Channel. We are already on in London, in the United Kingdom, and now we are going from London, from Amersham, and we are going uh, to the Netherlands. And in order to get there, you have to go across water. How many of us know that the United Kingdom is an island? It's an island. It's not, it's not, uh, it's not what they call mainland. It is an island. It is an island. And so I also looked up United Kingdom. United Kingdom is made up of Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England, uh, little islands around there, and it all makes up the United Kingdom. It has the Northern Sea, it has the North Atlantic Ocean, and then down at the bottom left, the right corner of the bottom, the closest it is to what I would then call France or the mainland, is 31 miles. And that's where they built the Channel Tunnel. Now, we didn't go into the Channel Tunnel. We did that on the way back, but we did the ferry. The bus just pulled on the ferry, and we was able to get off and just walk through the lounge and get a little something to eat, watch television until it went across the English Channel. And then we got back on the bus, and the bus just simply pulled off of the ferry. Now, on the way back, that is going to be so interesting because we did differently from that time. We went through and got really on that tunnel. Yeah, got into that tunnel, and then we cut the driver cut the bus off, and then something, whatever it was, I don't know whether it was a track or whether it was whatever it was, it just pulled us all the way, that 30 some miles, all the way over to London, going back into London in order to go home. This is the end. Hope, trust, and pray that you have uh, been edified, that it has been interesting. I hope that you will certainly like us, that you will go to the @ Clarence Williams 3930 and subscribe. We're trying to get at least 1,000 subscription, and we hope, trust, and pray that you will help us with that. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, anyone that they need to watch these videos, and they need to go and help us by subscribing to our videos in YouTube. Hope, trust. Now, I think it's Play Stick. I think that's what I was trying to remember at the beginning. I characterized these different videos in play sticks. I was looking for categories, and they didn't have that, but they do have play sticks. And so you can click on the play stick for the Bible studies. You can click on the play stick for the worship service, the uh, political commentary play sticks, and then also the trips. Now with the political commentaries, I have a commentary that I call Now and Then, and I'm so tempted to do another one of those because just so much is happening. But my mind is geared towards trying to complete these videos with the trip, and I hope, trust, that you can appreciate what I'm striving to do. This is just getting uh, to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and then from that we just went to Munich, went to Germany, went to Italy, back up to France, back to Belgium, and all of the cities in between these different countries. Just had a grand time. Just had a grand time. Again, I thank Congrado. I thank Nancy. I thank their beautiful children. The little girls say, where is the man that prays? I will remember that for the rest of my life. Where is the man that prayed, that prays? And because all she ever seen me do was pray. Every time that they would eat, they would ask me to pray. And so she just knew me as the man that prays. I hope I can get uh, that accolades from anyone, the man that prays. Again, thank you so much. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. This is my prayer. Have a great night.